Listen, let's get real for a second. When someone says, "I don't like having visitors," most people instantly judge. They'll say, "You're antisocial, you're cold, you're rude." But let me tell you something, it might actually say a lot more about your soul than they realize. Because the truth is, the older you get, the more serious you get about your life, your goals, and your peace of mind, the less tolerance you have for random, meaningless interruptions. You stop entertaining every knock at the door and every phone call that comes your way. You value your space, you protect your time, you choose your circle very carefully. That's not antisocial, that's self-awareness, that's discipline, that's clarity. Not wanting visitors isn't about disliking people. It's about loving your mission. It's about understanding that not everyone deserves access to your energy. And if you've got big goals, if you're building something that matters, you'll know exactly what I mean. Here's the hard truth. Most people would rather distract themselves with company than sit alone with their thoughts. But if you can sit alone in silence, if you can spend time with yourself without needing constant noise, that's strength. That's growth. That's your soul telling you, we're on the right track. So if you don't like having visitors, don't feel guilty. Don't apologize for valuing your peace. Protect your house. Protect your time. Protect your soul, because what you let inside, your space, your mind, your life, will determine the quality of everything you build. The bottom line is this: if you truly want to change your life, learn to close the door, physically and metaphorically. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Valuing your space is one of the most underrated skills in life. Most people don't even think about it. They live their lives with an open door policy, literally and metaphorically. Anybody can walk in anytime with any kind of energy, any kind of attitude, and they just accept it. And then they wonder why they feel drained. They wonder why they feel frustrated. They wonder why their mind is heavy and their soul feels cluttered. It's because they never learned the power of protecting their space. Not wanting visitors doesn't make you cold. It doesn't make you rude. It doesn't mean you hate people. It means you value your peace. It means you respect your energy. It means you're intentional about what and who you allow into your life. Look, the truth is simple. Your environment matters. Who you let through your door, who you pick up the phone for, who you sit at the table with, it all matters. Every conversation is an exchange of energy. Every knock at your door has the potential to add to your life or take away from it. And if you don't recognize that, you're going to spend years wondering why you feel stuck. You're going to spend years carrying weight that doesn't belong to you. You're going to spend years letting other people's drama, negativity, and distractions sabotage your growth. And the crazy part? Most of them won't even realize they're doing it. That's why valuing your space isn't optional. It's essential. When you say, "I don't like visitors," people might laugh. They might say you're antisocial. They might think you're unfriendly. But here's the reality. When you're serious about your life, when you're clear about your goals, when you're laser focused on building something meaningful, you don't have time for constant interruptions. You don't have energy to waste on meaningless conversations. You don't need random people showing up at your door just because they're bored. Because every minute you give away to something unimportant is a minute stolen from your mission. And once you understand how valuable time and energy really are, you stop handing them out like candy. You start protecting them like treasure, because that's what they are, treasures. Here's the thing most people will never admit. They'd rather distract themselves with company than deal with the silence of their own thoughts. They don't want to sit alone in a quiet room, because then they have to face who they really are. They have to face the fact that they're not where they want to be. They have to face the fact that their habits don't match their dreams, and they don't want to deal with that. So what do? They invite anyone and everyone into their space to drown out the noise in their head. But here's what happens when you actually grow, when you actually start leveling up. You get comfortable being alone. You get comfortable with silence. You don't need people around you just to feel okay. You don't need visitors to distract you from your reality. You embrace it, you use it, you grow from it, and that's when people start misunderstanding you. They think, oh, he doesn't like people. No, it's not about disliking people. It's about protecting your focus. It's about protecting your peace. It's about protecting your energy because you know it's the most valuable resource you have. Energy is currency. You spend it every single day. And the return on investment depends on where you spend it. If you spend it on negativity, you get more negativity. If you spend it on meaningless distractions, you get more meaningless results. If you spend it on people who only take and never give, you end up empty. But if you spend it on your mission, if you spend it on growth, if you spend it on people who challenge you and lift you higher, you multiply, you grow, you build momentum, and that's what valuing your space really means. It means you're intentional about where your energy goes. It means you stop apologizing for saying no. It means you don't feel guilty for closing the door. Because here's the truth, not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should be allowed in your space. Not everyone gets a seat at your table, and if you're serious about your life, you'll learn that fast. You'll learn that saying no to the wrong people is the same as saying yes to your future. You'll learn that closing the door to random visitors is the same as opening the door to your goals. Because at the end of the day, your space is sacred. It's where your soul recharges. It's where your ideas are born. It's where your discipline is built. And if you let just anyone in, if you let chaos in, if you let drama in, you poison that space. You weaken your foundation, you compromise your growth, and let me tell you this, success cannot grow in a poisoned environment. So when you say, I don't like having visitors, what you're really saying is, I'm focused. You're saying, I'm disciplined. You're saying, I respect my time, my energy, and my mission. And if people can't respect that, they don't belong in your life. Simple as that. Time is the most valuable resource you will ever have. You can make money back. You can recover from setbacks. You can rebuild what was lost. But you will never get back a single second of time once it's gone. And yet, most people treat their time like it's worthless. They give it away to anyone who asks. They waste it on meaningless distractions. They allow interruption after interruption, like their time has no value. And then they wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year. They wonder why they never build momentum. They wonder why nothing changes. It's because they never learn the discipline of protecting their time. Every interruption costs you more than you think. It doesn't just take the 5 minutes someone stole from you. It breaks your focus. It pulls you out of the zone. It kills your momentum. And once your momentum is gone, it takes twice as long to get it back. That's the hidden cost of interruption. Most people will never see it. But if you're serious about your life, if you're serious about your goals, you have to understand this truth. Time is sacred. Your focus is sacred. And if you allow people to constantly steal both, you will never build anything great. Successful people know this. That's why they guard their time fiercely. That's why they schedule their day with purpose. That's why they don't answer every call. That's why they don't entertain meaningless conversations. That's why they say no far more than they say yes. Because they understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something important. They understand that every interruption is a step backward, and they refuse to take those steps. Most people think success is about talent. Most people think it's about luck. But here's the truth. Success is about managing your time. It's about building momentum and refusing to let anything break it. It's about cutting out the noise so you can focus on what matters most. And the people who win in life are not the ones who do the most. They're the ones who focus the deepest. They're the ones who protect their hours like treasure. They're the ones who see every interruption for what it really is, a thief, because that's exactly what distractions are. They're thieves. They rob you of your time, they rob you of your focus, they rob you of your future. And most people are handing out the keys to their time like it's free. They'll stop working to answer every text. They'll drop what they're doing to scroll through nonsense. They'll let anyone knock on their door and take them away from what matters. And then they cry about how life is unfair. No, life isn't unfair. You just haven't learned to protect your time. You just haven't learned to say no. You just haven't learned that your time is the only currency you can't ever get back. Think about this. Every minute wasted is a piece of your life gone forever. Every distraction accepted is an opportunity destroyed. Every interruption welcomed is momentum shattered. And if you do that enough times, you'll wake up one day realizing you've spent your entire life chasing other people's priorities instead of your own. That's why protecting your time is non-negotiable. It's not selfish, it's not rude, it's survival, it's growth. It's the only way to make sure you're actually living on purpose. You have to get comfortable saying no. You have to get comfortable shutting the door. You have to get comfortable missing out on things that don't align with your vision. Because the truth is, if everything is important, then nothing is important. You can't give your best to everything. You can only give your best to what matters most, and that requires ruthless prioritization. That requires fierce protection of your time. That requires discipline most people don't have. But if you want to win, you have to develop it. You have to make your time untouchable. You have to structure your day so tight that distractions have no room to breathe. You have to be willing to look selfish to people who don't understand your mission. Because let's be real, they won't understand. They'll call you arrogant. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you think you're better than them. But here's the truth. You're not better than them. You're just more focused than them. You're not rude. You're just disciplined. You're not ignoring them. You're honoring your time. And if they can't respect that, then they don't respect you. If they can't respect your time, then they don't respect your future. And if you're serious about your life, you can't allow that. You can't keep giving your energy to people who don't value it. You can't keep letting interruptions pull you away from your goals. You can't keep sacrificing your future for someone else's convenience. Because every time you do, you pay the price, and the price is heavy. The price is your dreams delayed. The price is your potential wasted. The price is your life slipping through your fingers while you stay busy with nothing. That's why protecting your time is not just a habit. It's a mindset. It's a commitment. It's a promise to yourself that you will no longer waste your life on meaningless interruptions. It's a decision to build momentum and keep it. It's a vow to stop letting thieves steal the one thing you can never get back, your time. Your circle defines your direction. The people you let into your life are not neutral. They either push you forward or they pull you back. They either add fuel to your fire or they pour water on it. There's no in-between. That's why being selective about who you let close to you is not optional. It's critical. Most people never think about this. They let anybody in. If someone wants their time, they give it. If someone wants their energy, they hand it over. If someone wants a seat at their table, they pull out a chair without a second thought. And then they wonder why their life feels heavy. They wonder why they're stuck in cycles of drama, negativity, and distractions. It's because they never learned how dangerous the wrong circle can be. Your circle is either a ladder or a cage. It will either elevate you or trap you. It will either hold you accountable to your highest standards or drag you into mediocrity. And here's the truth. Most people around you are comfortable with mediocrity. They don't want to grow. They don't want to change. They don't want to be challenged. So when you start to take your life seriously, when you start demanding more from yourself, they feel uncomfortable. They feel threatened. They want to pull you back down to their level. And if you're not selective, if you don't filter who gets access to your life, they will succeed. They will keep you stuck. They will keep you distracted. They will keep you from becoming who you're meant to be. That's why limiting visitors, limiting who you allow into your space, forces you to carefully choose who deserves access. Not everyone deserves to be close to you. Not everyone has earned the right to share your energy. Not everyone should be allowed to influence your mindset, because influence is powerful. Spend enough time with someone and you start to think like them. Spend enough time with someone and you start to act like them. Spend enough time with someone and you either rise to their level or sink to it. That's why your circle is the most important environment you'll ever live in. It's not your house, it's not your city, it's not your office, it's your circle. The people you allow in will determine your standards, your habits, and ultimately your results. And if your circle is filled with negativity, laziness, excuses, and small thinking, you will eventually absorb it. But if your circle is filled with vision, discipline, drive, and hunger, you will rise with them. That's why successful people are ruthless about their circle. They don't keep people around out of guilt. They don't keep people around just because of history. They don't keep people around just because it's comfortable. They make hard choices. They limit access. They cut off dead weight, not because they're cruel, but because they understand the stakes. This isn't about being cold. This isn't about being heartless. This is about survival. This is about growth. This is about protecting your mission. Think about it. Why would you allow someone who doesn't believe in you to have influence over you? Why would you allow someone who settles for less to speak into your life when you're chasing more? Why would you keep people in your circle who constantly complain, constantly gossip, constantly bring drama when you're trying to build peace and discipline? It makes no sense, but people do it every single day, and it costs them years of progress. It costs them opportunities. It costs them the future they say they want. Your circle is a mirror. Look at the people closest to you and you'll see your future. If they're disciplined, you'll grow disciplined. If they're lazy, you'll fall into laziness. If they think small, you'll shrink your own vision. If they're chasing greatness, you'll be pulled toward greatness. That's why limiting visitors is so powerful. When you stop giving everyone access, when you stop letting random people into your space, you naturally filter out those who don't belong. You start to see clearly who aligns with your mission and who doesn't. You start to realize who challenges you to grow and who keeps you comfortable. You start to separate the people who clap for you when you win from the people who secretly hope you fail. And that clarity changes everything. Because once you know who belongs in your circle, you stop wasting time on people who don't. You stop feeling guilty for saying no. You stop apologizing for cutting ties. You stop letting history or bloodline or convenience keep you tied to people who don't want the best for you. You realize that access to your life is a privilege, not a right, and not everyone has earned it, so you start treating it that way. You stop entertaining every visitor. You stop answering every call. You stop opening the door just because someone knocked. You protect your circle the way you'd protect your most valuable possession, because that's exactly what it is. Your circle will either help you build the life you dream of or guarantee that you never get there. And the choice of who gets to be in it is yours. Most people are too weak to make that choice. They don't want to hurt feelings. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to feel alone. So they surround themselves with the wrong people and pretend it's fine. But deep down, they know. They know their circle is holding them back. They know they're stuck in patterns because of the people they allow in. And they know they'll never reach their true potential until they make the hard cuts. But the ones who do, the ones who get selective, the ones who limit access and build a strong, supportive, challenging circle, those are the ones who rise. Those are the ones who win. Those are the ones who prove that greatness doesn't just come from discipline and talent. It comes from the people you surround yourself with. And you only get that when you're brave enough to be selective. If you want to build something meaningful, You have to get serious about your mission. Not halfway serious, not when it's convenient serious, not as long as I don't have to give anything up serious. I mean locked in, I mean tunnel vision, I mean so focused that people around you don't even understand what drives you anymore. Because the truth is, you cannot build something meaningful if you're constantly distracted. Distractions are everywhere. They're in your phone, they're in your conversations, they're in your environment. They're in the people you spend time with. They come disguised as opportunities. They come disguised as entertainment. They come disguised as obligations. But at the end of the day, they're all the same. Noise, meaningless noise that pulls you away from your mission. And here's the hard part. Most people don't even realize they're distracted. They think they're busy, they think they're working, they think they're moving forward. But in reality, they are just spinning their wheels because their attention is scattered across 1,000 little things that don't matter. That's why the mission has to come first. Every single day, you have to wake up and ask yourself, does this get me closer to my goal, or does it distract me from it? And if it's a distraction, it has to go, no matter how tempting it is, no matter how comfortable it feels, no matter how many people don't understand. Because if you're truly committed to building something meaningful, you can't afford to waste time and energy on meaningless noise. Think about it. Every second you give to distraction is a second stolen from your mission. Every hour wasted is an hour you'll never get back. Every day lost is momentum killed, and momentum is everything. Without momentum, you don't build. Without momentum, you don't grow. Without momentum, you quit. That's why the people who succeed aren't the ones who dabble. They're not the ones who try when they feel like it. They're the ones who cut out every distraction that doesn't serve their mission. They're the ones who say no to comfort. They're the ones who don't care about trends, don't care about gossip, don't care about meaningless noise, because they care about the work. They care about the legacy they're building. They care about the vision that keeps them up at night. And they understand this. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve your mission and your distractions at the same time. One of them will win, and whichever one you feed the most is the one that grows. If you feed your mission, it will grow. If you feed your distractions, they will grow. It's that simple. The question is, which one are you feeding? For most people, the answer is obvious. They spend hours scrolling. They spend hours talking about nothing. They spend hours doing things that don't move them forward, and then they complain that their dreams feel out of reach. But the truth is, their dreams aren't out of reach. They're buried under layers of distraction. If they would cut the noise, if they would refocus, if they would put the mission first, they'd be shocked at how much progress they could make. Because when you eliminate distractions, something incredible happens. You gain clarity, you gain energy, you gain momentum. Your time expands because you're no longer wasting it. Your results multiply because your effort is no longer scattered. And your mission becomes sharper because you're no longer clouded by noise. But here's the catch. Cutting out distractions is not easy. It's uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice. It requires discipline. It requires saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It requires missing out on things that look fun in the moment so you can create something meaningful in the long run, and that's where most people fail. They don't want to miss out. They don't want to be misunderstood. They don't want to feel uncomfortable, so they choose distraction over mission, and then they live their lives wondering why they never built anything meaningful. But you have a choice. You can decide today to flip that script. You can decide today that your mission matters more than your distractions. You can decide today that you're done wasting energy on noise, because let me tell you, when you get serious about your mission, everything changes. Your priorities shift, your habits change, your circle evolves, your environment transforms, and suddenly you stop caring about meaningless distractions because you're too busy building something real. And that's the key. If it doesn't serve the mission, it doesn't deserve your attention. If it doesn't move you forward, it has to be cut. If it doesn't build momentum, it's just noise, and noise kills dreams. That's the truth nobody wants to admit. Dreams don't die because people aren't talented. Dreams don't die because people don't have opportunities. Dreams die because people get distracted. They lose focus. They trade discipline for comfort. They choose temporary entertainment over long-term fulfillment. And by the time they realize it, years have passed and the mission is gone. Don't let that be you. Don't let your distractions steal your future. Don't let meaningless noise drown out the calling that's inside you. Because if you're here, if you're breathing, if you're alive right now, then you have a mission, and that mission deserves your focus. It deserves your discipline. It deserves every ounce of energy you have, not the leftovers after you waste time on distractions, not the scraps after you've given yourself to meaningless noise. It deserves your best. Every single day, and the only way you can give it your best is by cutting out what doesn't matter, by silencing the noise, by choosing the mission over distractions. Most people are terrified of being alone. They'll do anything to avoid silence. They'll fill their schedule with noise, with people, with endless distractions, just so they don't have to sit with themselves. Because when you're alone, you have to face the truth. You have to face the reality of who you are, what you've done and what you haven't done, and that scares people, so they run from it. They hide behind constant company. They hide behind constant entertainment. They hide behind constant busyness, but here's the truth. There is no weakness in solitude. There is strength. There is clarity. There is growth. Being comfortable alone means you are at peace with yourself. It means you don't need outside validation every second just to feel okay. It means you're grounded in who you are and where you're going, and that's rare. Most people can't even spend 10 minutes in a room with themselves without reaching for a screen, without making a call, without distracting themselves with something meaningless. They confuse loneliness with solitude. But they're not the same. Loneliness is when you feel empty because you don't have others around you. Solitude is when you feel whole even when it's just you, and that difference is everything. Because if you can master solitude, if you can sit with yourself and be at peace, you unlock a kind of strength that most people will never know. When you're alone, there's no mask, there's no performance. There's no pretending. It's just you, raw and unfiltered, and if you can sit in that space without fear, it means you've built a strong relationship with yourself. It means you trust yourself. It means you respect yourself. And that's the foundation of real confidence. Confidence doesn't come from applause. Confidence doesn't come from followers. Confidence doesn't come from how many people surround you. It comes from knowing that even if all of that disappeared, you would still stand strong. That's what solitude gives you. It strips away the noise so you can see yourself clearly. It strips away the distractions so you can hear your own thoughts. It strips away the pressure of outside voices so you can finally listen to your own voice. And that's where clarity lives. That's where direction is born. That's where vision becomes sharp. Some of the best ideas you'll ever have will come in moments of solitude. Some of the deepest breakthroughs you'll ever experience will happen when it's just you and your thoughts. Because solitude creates space, and in that space, your soul has room to breathe. Your mind has room to process. Your heart has room to speak. But if you're constantly surrounded by people, constantly drowning in noise, constantly distracting yourself with stimulation, you'll never find that space. You'll never hear that inner voice. You'll never discover the clarity that comes only from solitude. That's why solitude isn't weakness, it's strength. Weakness is needing constant company just to feel okay. Weakness is being unable to sit in silence. Weakness is depending on others for validation instead of building it within yourself. But strength is different. Strength is being able to close the door, sit in the quiet, and not feel afraid of it. Strength is knowing you don't need an audience to feel valuable. Strength is being able to walk your path, even if nobody else is walking it with you. And here's the reality: you cannot build anything meaningful if you're afraid of solitude, because greatness is built in the quiet, discipline is forged in the quiet, vision is sharpened in the quiet. The world will see the results, but they will never see the hours of solitude that made those results possible. They will see the success, but they will never see the nights alone, the mornings in silence, the hours of deep work with no audience, no applause, no recognition. That's where the real strength is built. And if you can't handle that, if you can't handle solitude, then you'll never last long enough to see your vision through, because distractions will pull you. Loneliness will trick you. The need for validation will enslave you, but solitude frees you. It gives you independence. It gives you clarity. It gives you control. And once you realize that, you stop being afraid of it. You start craving it. You start protecting it, because you realize that solitude isn't empty. It's full of clarity, full of strength, full of growth. So the next time you find yourself alone, don't run from it. Don't fill the silence with meaningless noise. Don't rush to escape it. Lean into it, sit with it, learn from it, because solitude is where you meet yourself. It's where you build yourself. It's where you discover who you really are and what you really want. And once you find strength in that, nothing outside of you can shake you. Not the noise, not the opinions, not the loneliness, because you'll know the truth. Being alone doesn't mean you're weak. Being alone doesn't mean you're empty. Being alone doesn't mean you're broken. Being alone means you're strong enough to stand on your own. Being alone means you're clear enough to walk your own path. Being alone means you've built a foundation so solid that nothing can take it from you. That's strength, that's clarity, that's solitude. Energy is currency. It's the most valuable form of exchange you have. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of it, and how you spend it determines the quality of your life. But here's the mistake most people make. They treat their energy like it's unlimited. They hand it out carelessly. They give it to anyone who asks. They waste it on things that don't matter, on people who don't care, on distractions that don't move them forward. And then they wonder why they're exhausted. They wonder why they feel drained. They wonder why their soul feels heavy. It's because they've been spending their energy on the wrong things and the wrong people. Just like money, energy has to be invested wisely. Spend it poorly and you'll always feel broke. Spend it intentionally and you'll multiply your results. But unlike money, you can't earn more energy on command. You can't just swipe a card and refill your tank. You have to recharge it with rest. You have to protect it with discipline. You have to guard it with boundaries, because once it's gone for that day. And that means every choice you make about who you allow in your space is critical. The people around you are either depositing energy into your life or withdrawing it. They're either fueling your mission or draining it. They're either lifting your mindset or poisoning it. There is no neutral. Every conversation has an exchange. Every interaction leaves a mark. Every person you allow in your circle is shaping your energy, whether you notice it or not. And over time, those exchanges add up, they compound, they determine your soul, your mindset, your results. That's why energy is currency, and the people you spend it on are either investments or expenses. So ask yourself, are you surrounded by assets or are you surrounded by liabilities? Because if your circle is constantly draining you, no amount of motivation will save you. If your environment is filled with negativity, it doesn't matter how disciplined you are, you will burn out. If the people around you constantly complain, constantly criticize, constantly take without giving, they are bankrupting your energy. And when your energy is gone, your mission dies with it. That's why successful people are ruthless about protecting their energy. They know who they spend it on. They know where it goes. They know what fuels them and what drains them. And they cut out everything and everyone that costs more than it returns. Not because they're cold. Not because they don't care, but because they understand the math. They understand that energy is the foundation of everything. Without it, you can't focus. Without it, you can't build. Without it, you can't grow. And if you give it away too cheaply, you'll never have enough left for the things that actually matter. Think about it. If you had a bank account with only so much money, would you hand it out to anyone who asked? Would you waste it on meaningless purchases? Would you let people steal it without consequence? Of course not. You would protect it. You would invest it. You would make sure every dollar had a purpose. So why don't you treat your energy the same way? Why do you let anyone take it? Why do you spend it on things that don't matter? Why do you leave yourself drained every single day with nothing left for your mission? It's because most people don't respect their energy. They don't see it for what it really is, a currency. But once you do, once you understand its value, everything changes. You stop answering every call. You stop entertaining every complaint. You stop letting people dump their negativity on you. You stop wasting hours on nonsense. You start setting boundaries. You start protecting your peace. You start choosing your circle with intention. You start investing your energy only where it multiplies. And when you do that, your life shifts. Your soul feels lighter. Your mindset gets sharper. Your results explode. Because now, instead of being drained by liabilities, you're fueled by assets. Instead of being poisoned by negativity, you're strengthened by positivity. Instead of being pulled down by distractions, you're elevated by purpose. That's the power of treating energy like currency. And here's the truth. Energy attracts energy. When you protect your own, you naturally start attracting people who do the same. When you elevate your mindset, you naturally start drawing others who elevate theirs. When you invest in your mission, you naturally start connecting with others on that same path. That's how momentum builds. That's how growth multiplies. That's how you create an unstoppable environment. But it all starts with this decision. No more careless spending. No more giving energy to things that don't deserve it. No more wasting it on people who drain it. Your soul depends on it. Your mindset depends on it. Your results depend on it. So guard it like the treasure it is. Spend it with intention. Invest it with purpose. And watch how everything in your life changes when you finally treat your energy like the currency it has always been. Every time you close the door, you're making a decision. It might feel small in the moment. It might look insignificant to other people, but it's not. Closing the door is an act of clarity. It's a declaration that your time, your energy, your goals, and your future matter more than someone else's convenience. And that takes strength, because let's be honest, it's not easy to say no. It's not easy to deny access. It's not easy to close the door when someone is knocking. We're taught from the beginning that saying no is rude. We're taught that shutting people out makes us selfish. We're taught that being available at all times makes us kind. But the truth is different. The truth is saying yes to every visitor, every request, every interruption. That's what's selfish. Because every yes you give to meaningless distractions is a no to your mission. Every yes you give to someone else's priorities is a no to your own. Every yes you give to constant interruptions is a no to your growth, your goals, your future. That's the cost nobody sees, and that's why closing the door is not rude. It's necessary. When you close the door, you're protecting your focus. You're protecting your energy. You're protecting the path you've chosen for yourself. You're telling the world, I'm not here to live on other people's terms. I'm here to build something meaningful, and that requires me to say no. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care about people. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're committed. It means you've chosen your mission over distractions. It means you've decided that your future deserves more than constant interruptions. And if people can't understand that, then they don't understand you. And that's okay, because this journey is not for everyone. Not everyone will get it. Not everyone will support it. Not everyone will cheer you on when you start closing the door with purpose. Some will call you selfish. Some will call you arrogant. Some will call you unfriendly. But deep down, they wish they had the strength to do what you're doing. They wish they had the discipline to say no. They wish they had the clarity to put their mission first. And instead of admitting that, they'll criticize you for it. That's why you can't listen. That's why you can't cave in. That's why you have to keep closing the door again and again, no matter how it looks to other people. Because every door you close to distraction is another door you open to discipline. Every no you say to wasted time is a yes to progress. Every boundary you set is an investment in your future. And the truth is, your future is built on those decisions. Not the big, flashy choices everyone sees. Not the dramatic moments that make headlines, but the small, quiet, daily act of closing the door on what doesn't matter. That's what shapes your growth. That's what builds your momentum. That's what protects your vision. Think about it. What's the real cost of leaving the door open to everything and everyone? The cost is your focus shattered. The cost is your energy drained. The cost is your dreams delayed, maybe even destroyed. And for what? For a conversation that went nowhere. For a visit that wasted hours. For the comfort of not offending someone who doesn't even care about your future. That's not worth it. Your goals are worth more. Your growth is worth more. Your future is worth more. That's why closing the door has to become a habit, not once in a while, not only when it's easy, not only when you feel like it, every day, every time. When the knock comes and you know it's not aligned with your mission, you close it. When the phone rings and you know it's just another distraction, you close it. When the invitation shows up and you know it won't move you forward, you close it. And the more you do it, the stronger you become, because every time you say no, you're building discipline. Every time you say no, you're proving to yourself that your mission comes first. Every time you say no, you're reinforcing the mindset of someone who wins. Closing the door with purpose is not about shutting the world out. It's about letting the right things in. It's about creating space for growth. It's about choosing progress over comfort, clarity over chaos, purpose over distractions. And when you do that consistently, you will look back one day and realize that those small acts of discipline added up to something massive. They added up to your future. They added up to your success. They added up to the life you were meant to build. So don't be afraid of closing the door. Don't be afraid of saying no. Don't be afraid of protecting your time, your energy, your mission, because when you say no to visitors, you're not being selfish. You're not being rude. You're not being arrogant. You're being intentional. You're being disciplined. You're being focused. You're saying yes to your goals. You're saying yes to your growth. You're saying yes to your future. And that's the most powerful yes you will ever give. At the end of the day, this isn't about visitors, it isn't about doors, it isn't even about saying no, it's about who you want to become. It's about whether you're willing to trade short-term comfort for long-term greatness. It's about whether you'll protect your energy, your focus, and your future, or give them away to anyone who asks for them. The truth is simple, you don't owe anyone access, you don't owe anyone your time. You don't owe anyone your energy. What you owe is to yourself, to your mission, to your potential, to the future you're building. Every no you say today is an investment in that future. Every boundary you set is proof that you're serious. Every door you close with purpose is a door that opens to growth, to clarity, to success. So stop apologizing for protecting your peace. Stop feeling guilty for saying no. Stop letting people make you believe that boundaries are weakness. They're not, they're strength. And if you stay strong, if you keep your circle tight, if you guard your energy like the currency it is, then nothing and no one can stop you, because your mission is bigger than their opinions. Your goals are more important than their interruptions, and your future is worth every single no. So close the door, say no, and watch how saying no to distractions becomes the most powerful yes you've ever given to yourself, to your growth, and to the life you were meant to live.